Good Monday morning, you guys. Oh, we have stories for you this weekend. But right now, you're listening to Author Talk with me, Aimee, Sandy, Russell, and our lovely author guest today is Erna. So you guys, okay. One, if you're hearing the echo, yes, no, I haven't fixed it in my office yet. Okay. If it's not, then it's just going to drive me crazy. Okay. But okay, so we're still in people coming to visit me, but I have a doorbell now, you guys. My video doorbell works, and I installed it myself. So it's been a lot of fun doing those things. I've learned a lot. Okay.
How was your dinner the other night when you had company already?
Yes. Okay. So we all know Josh is my husband, Erna, and he had a colleague from the Czech Republic here in town. And so we had him over for dinner, and he was such a delight. Like, he was just one of the nicest people. He played with my kids, and he doesn't have kids of his own. He like traced my kids on the sidewalk in chalk, played with them, took photos. I mean, he just had the greatest time. He was a fabulous person. He's welcome back anytime. It was great.
I have a question about that, Aimee. Did he have any questions or amazement about an American home, or had he visited so many times it didn't matter?
No, my home to him, my oven was like 10 times bigger than the ones that they have. They don't have dishwashers, so he was amazed by that. Just my car in general. He had helped Josh go pick something up for me because I've gotten into estate sales, you guys, but that's a conversation for another show. And so he went and picked something up for me. I know. So he went and picked something up for me, and so he was just amazed, because my car, I have a Yukon, which is a full size big SUV. So he was just amazed by all that, and then the things going on, that we just have here and everything. And he was amazed at the fact that I cooked steaks. I sous vide them. I didn't cook them, but and all of this other crap in my day that I do, and I keep my kids alive. The biggest thing. I got that accomplished, which was kind of cool and fun. So he was fabulous. He was a lot of fun. As we discovered last week, all of you guys have learned with us, me and Josh can do home improvements together, but we cannot move together. We have to unpack separately. Okay, we just have to unpack separately.
Every relationship has its limitations.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, and so
especially when moving.
Yes, and so this last weekend, the one that just happened, I actually went home to see my mom. So my niece's birthday is actually tomorrow. So they were celebrating it on Saturday. She turned 5. And so I went home with the kids. Josh stayed behind. He was getting ready to go out of town this week. And so he stayed behind and, put knickknacks away and mostly worked on our older house, getting it ready to be rented out and everything. And so when I came back in town, my other house is closer to that part of town. So I stopped there and helped him get more stuff done.
Yeah, you made sure he was doing the right work. That's what you were doing.
He was painting, and it made me a little nervous.
And
made me a little nervous when he was painting. Okay, I already let him pick out the new floors, and that was a disaster. I shouldn't have done that, but whatever. So it's been a lot of fun. My family actually. So my birthday is this Sunday, Erna.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday in advance.
I know, it's going to be fabulous time. It's birthday season in my house. So my birthday is on the 30th. My husband's is on the 6th. My daughter's is on the 8th. And my youngest is on the 25th of August. So it's birthday season up in my house. Okay. And so, anyways, so my mom and dad and my sister and her family are going to come up this weekend.
That sounds terrible.
Well, so here's the reason. So
terrible.
They're all going on a family cruise, and it goes out on my birthday. So they're coming up beforehand, and then they're going to go on the cruise. So they actually celebrated and sang to me also on Saturday. And one of the few desserts that I can have my IC diagnosis and everything is a cheesecake. And I still have to take my lactose pills because I'm lactose intolerant to eat it, but we went with it. Okay.
You're intolerant of a lot of things. They need to get a lot of pills for you.
Mostly just patience. I'm intolerant of patience. Okay. I don't have that. But anyway, so it was a fun kind of get together, and they will be the first ones to come and stay in my house. So I'm going to work my ass off to get out of my boxes this week. And of course, Josh is out of town, gallivanting off in East Texas, living it up, you know. As I always say, as like a single dude, because he's by himself, just partying it up, no kids, no wife, no nothing. So I am determined to get that done. I need to finish painting at my other house. So I am going to do all this because I've just dubbed myself a badass, and I'm going to do it while Josh is not here and keep my children alive. So just, you know, pray for me or send good wishes that I am not in the loony bin on Friday. That would be great. Okay. I'm just saying. But
You know,
in a
if you're not in the
nutshell,
loony bin, if you're not in the loony bin already, you're good. Because you
okay,
have
hey,
such
I
a
like
sense
that. I like that.
You're good to
Yes.
go. You passed. She's so busy
Nice.
on everything, and she still has time for clients, for all these podcasts and all the other stuff that you're doing. You're just amazing, Aimee. I'm so proud of you.
It's a lot. It's a
Yeah, I
lot.
think she's something else. That's for sure.
I am something else. I am something else. So, Erna, before Russell tells you, because he likes to say that I'm careless and have a million children, I only have 2 daughters. They are 3 and 4, and they are 13 months apart. And to be fair, Russell has more children than I do, so I don't know who's the more careless one in that situation. But just to beat Russell to it, because he likes to mention that all the time. But what did everybody else do this weekend? I hope it was more adventurous and more fun than mine. Russell has a good time kind of coming up. So who wants to go first and tell me about their weekend and what all is going on? Russell.
Well, I guess I will. No one spoke up.
We know
Because
you want to be first.
Well, I have nothing. There's nothing good for me to say this weekend because I was a nurse all weekend. My wife got the virus. So,
dear.
and so I attempted, and we all know because you know me, so you know I have many deficiencies, especially as a 41-year married husband. Erna, I've been married 41 years and I don't know how I did it. I'm not very good.
I don't know either.
But I got to tell you, I did the best I could to take care of my wife. And that's what of course, I did go play pickleball without her every day.
Oh,
That's
So-
okay. No. I mean, being nurturing like that as a guy is like essential. Otherwise, she would have ditched you after 20 years or maybe
She-
10.
She almost did at all of those numbers. But that's all I have.
Relationships like that, eh? Every relationship.
He has an amazing wife, is what it is. So patience and how she puts up with Russell for all these years, that is a question to be answered. But it's definitely on her side because she is amazing. But she was just sick just recently. It's so sick again. I'm sorry to hear.
No, she had a pickleball injury the weekend before.
I know, but just a few weeks ago.
Erna, we've gone pickleball crazy.
I go to a gym where everybody but me is pickleball crazy.
Well, you should pick it up. It's fun, but don't get hurt.
No, don't get hurt. Yeah.
I don't understand. Is pickleball, is it just a combination of like tennis
like racquetball and tennis combined?
Oh,
and ping pong.
And ping pong, yeah.
It's like tennis for old people.
Okay.
Yeah, I love watching them. I don't think I'll do it. I'd rather lift weights.
By the way, lifting weights is the fountain of youth.
It is.
So the older you get, the more you need to lift weights.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, that is great. I didn't know that. I've been walking, and I realized I had like an aha moment when I went to New York about 3 weeks ago with my granddaughters who are 30, and I walked all day, every day, the whole time we were there. We were there 4 days. And I thought I'd come home and not be able to, get out of the chair for a few days because my legs were so stiff. But within a day after resting, my legs felt better than they had felt in a long time. So I've been doing the treadmill, but not walking outside. And I'm like, okay. So this weekend,
so walking outside is so good for you. It's like, even in an intense urban environment like New York, it's good for you. It's even better if you're where Russell is.
Oh yeah, up in the mountains of
It is.
Georgia is where I am, Erna.
Is
And
it? Oh.
yes, walking. I'm a runner, but walking gives you over 80% of the benefit that running gives you. So it's the lowest impact, best sport, except for swimming.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's really important.
And we
And I
have to
have
do
to be
it.
able to get in and out of my little boat at the lake. We have a cottage, so I have to stay fit so I can actually crawl in and out of the boat from time to time.
So this is that, Russell. Were you done with your weekend?
Yeah,
You have more.
it's you and Erna now.
Okay, so Erna, why don't you go, and then
Well, what
I'll
did I do this
conclude.
weekend? I went for a lovely dinner with friends on an outdoor patio for the first time this season, which is really exciting. At long last, the outdoor patios are open. And I garden. So I spent a lot of Saturday and Sunday just pottering in the garden. And gardens are, I don't think they play a pivotal role in the book, but they certainly towards the end you learn about the significance of one particular garden.
Very nice. Well, we had a family dinner on Sunday. It was my husband's idea. He said, we haven't had everybody over for a while. Let's have a family dinner. So we spent Saturday getting
That's
ready
always
and
nice.
Sunday having the dinner. We had a great time. I have two sons that live in the area and two that live out of the area. But the two here came with family, and it was just yesterday was just a very, very nice day. So it was not a real active weekend, but that was a highlight. That was great.
Sounds lovely.
So we need to thank the people that are listening to us. Erna, most people listen to us during the week on their way to work or while they're working out. That's usually why we time our shows about the time it takes for someone in an urban area to drive to work or a workout. And we're top 10 independent book podcast in America. We very much thank the listeners for that. And Aimee actually changed. I don't know what it's called. Aimee, what is it called? You changed it, and all of a sudden it went from I could not ever find us on the podcast channels to I found us the first time I looked.
Wow.
What did you change, Aimee, and where can they find us?
I just rebranded us so Russell could find us. I did vibrant colors, like I mentioned every show. I can be selfish at times, and I was selfish with the colors, and I picked crimson, red, and gold because those are my favorite. But yes, I rebranded us so you can see it. Dina Ray helped me create my vision to come to life, which Dina's been on here before. She's doing Russell's covers for his book, so she's amazing. We're big.
And she's very perceptive. I got to tell you, Dina is almost uncomfortably perceptive. She's so perceptive.
She's wonderful. We are a huge fan of Dina. But you can find us anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. So Amazon Music, Spotify, Good Pods, Apple, Google Play. Those are my top ones that I go and find podcasts, or Josh goes and finds. So you can find us there. Anywhere else that you enjoy listening to podcasts is where we are. You can join us in on the conversation like Mom Barella does every Monday. You can come over to any one of our social media platforms. I am an open book. Mine is public. So come on over there, say hi, tune into our conversation. We love to engage with you. Or if you want to just laugh at us, I tend to laugh at myself. I'm very animated. Okay. Russell knows this about me. I do not have a poker face. I control what comes out of my mouth, but not my facial or hand movements.
Erna, she's a badass, but she can't control it.
I'm very bad.
She controls her. She
I
can
may
control
be
her
in the
temper.
same category, Russell.
Yay!
By the way, I respect that, and I prefer people like that. My mother was like that. My wife is like a total badass. It's awful, but that's another story. We won't go down that road.
Right.
I absolutely love it. But make sure you come on over or go to our YouTube channel to catch us out, catch our replays. We always enjoy doing this. Like we've mentioned, Sandy has brought up, we've mentioned this for a long time. This year has gone by quick and slow at the same time, but it is our 8th year. January will be our 9th year doing it.
Wow.
So make sure you come on over all of our episodes that we have done And our 8 years is up there. You can watch them. You can listen to them. You can see how we started versus where we are now. It's always fun to reminisce and go look at those glory days is how I label it. But I do have something interesting that I want to talk to everybody about before we dive into Erna's book, because I'm dying to dive into that. I read your press release from Mickey and I read it to my husband, and I'm dying to dive into your book. But I don't know if anyone else knows this, but I found this loophole. So sometimes I like to kind of wonder and test the limits sometimes on things and see what happens. So when you're uploading your book, if you're self-publishing, you all know if you want to do a pre-order, you have to go through Ingram, but you can set your pre-order on KDP for your ebook, right? And your paper book, it has to be within 90 days, right? So it's kind of one of those things. Now, if you ever run into this problem, you usually had to get separate ISBN numbers if you wanted to be on Amazon and Ingram Sparks. You always had to have separate ISBN numbers. Well, you know your girl likes loopholes. Okay, loopholes should have been my middle name. Okay, I was watching this YouTube video and I tested it out with one of my books that's coming out tomorrow. American Tragedy by Dan Flanagan is coming out tomorrow. I tested this with it to see if it works, and I'll be damned if the thing didn't work. So I'm going to share it because it worked. Now, if you want to use the same ISBN number and set your book up for pre-order and it's going out longer than 90 days, and you have to do that on Ingram Sparks, you need to upload your book to KDP first as a paperback with that ISBN number and save it as a draft. So that way Amazon registered that ISBN number with that book. So when you upload it to Ingram Sparks and it's available for pre-order, when your book gets closer to the date, you can go and hit publish your paperback book on Amazon with the exact same ISBN number, and it will publish that book for you and kick Ingram off of Amazon. So you can use the same ISBN number, and that's the way to do it. If you already knew that, kudos to you, because I did not know this, and I don't know if anybody else, but I'm sick and tired of buying 2 ISBN numbers for the same damn book. You know what I'm saying? So this is the way that you can do that. I mean, I'm just saying, those items must be expensive. Russell, don't laugh at me. Anyways,
I'm not. What I'm laughing about is that you've done this test. I think it's great.
I know. I'm so bad.
And Ingram's important.
Ingram is a love-hate relationship for all authors, and we all know that, right? We're all like, I don't want to be on Ingram. They take all my money, but I want to pre-order my book, right? So this is the way that eventually you can kick Ingram off when your book comes out and still have your book. Now, I tested it and I released the paperback book early because I was like, I don't know. I really did not think this was going to work, you guys. I'm not even going to lie. I thought this was like total BS and it wasn't going to work. So when I hit publish and it put the book in review, I was like, oh shit, it worked. You know, it's one of those no other word fits, but oh shit, it worked, you know? So I don't know about you guys, but I did jump off my counter stool and was all like, hell yeah, I was so excited. Okay, so you know that you are a lover of authors. If you get excited about you don't have to buy the ISBN number.
And those people listening that want to be an author or trying to be an author, they need to pay attention to that. ISBN, what you did, the potential, it's important.
It was awesome. And it was good.
And what they need to pay attention to is how up Aimee is on finding out these things. So she's the right person to get to help when you're publishing your book or to publish your book for you. She does both. So she provides support if you want to do it, and then she does it for you if you want to do that. So Aimee, yay.
It's an incredibly complex market, isn't it, Aimee?
It is. And I think for me personally, that's why I like it, is because it's mentally challenging for me. And when things get stagnant, I'm like, well, there has to be something new out there. And then I test it out, right? Yeah. Russell, this is what we're going to do for your book when it comes out. I just had to test it. So.
I'm very excited.
I know. So am I, you guys. So am I. Anyways, I'm more excited to get Erna talking about her book. And so, Sandy, take it away.
So let us be true. That's Erna's book. I first say Emma because your name I'm looking at it on the screen, and the R and the M kind of go together, make
Yeah, I get a
M.
lot of variations on my name.
I bet.
Yeah,
Irma,
I get a
Emma.
lot of different names too, Erna. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
Yeah, but
identify. I bet yours are nicer than mine.
yeah, that too.
they're not variations of Russell, is what he gets called. So, Erna, tell me about Let Us Be True. First of all, just tell. I know the book is was published under one publisher that's not there anymore. I
That's
read the
right.
last part. That's really, really tragic today. And now but you have a new publisher. So the thing is, you get the opportunity to market it all over again. I think
Yeah,
it's
and
wonderful.
it's been a really interesting ride because, you're right. It's really sad that so many mid-sized publishers sort of tanked during the pandemic. It was really not a good time for publishing at all. So finding Ed and Shadowpaw was a little gift to give this book a second life, and I hope a stronger life. It sold well under the Cotto uh, logo, but I'm hoping we can push it even further this time.
So, as Aimee said, I think every author, when they write a book, there's a story there.
Yeah.
So, what's the story behind? I know that this is your book. You've done a lot of other writing, but
Yes,
from what I could find, it looks like this is the only book you've written. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yeah. It was really a labor of love. I'd always wanted to write a book about my mom's generation. So kind of that generation that came up through the Depression and the Second World War, but were also impacted by the previous war. And that generation kept a lot of secrets. I mean, just as men who fought in the Second World War found it difficult, if not impossible, to talk about it, the women who went through that period also kept a lot of secrets. And for Pearl, the central character, it's really impacted her relationship with her daughters, who also have their own secrets. So it's like this generational pattern of keeping secrets that could actually, if told, would open up a stronger relationship within the family just by knowing what those secrets are. So gradually over the course of the book, those secrets are revealed, and her daughters, by the end of the book, her daughters will come to understand their mother better by hearing about those secrets.
So, is this based on the story, your mom's story?
I don't think everybody says write what you know. And yeah, I think every writer does, but not literally. I think it's those stories that echo with you, that stay with you about, somebody else's mother or your mother's friend or, best friend who went to war and came back damaged. I think all of those things sort of percolate and reverberate in your mind, and you choose out of those which stories to tell and which not to tell. So I don't think it's writing what you know so much as writing what you've experienced. Writing
That's
about
great.
not
Yes.
just your memory, but the memories of others.
Well, and
And I think that makes the strongest books.
I think
And I
that's
was lucky.
amazing.
I was lucky. I was a filmmaker for 30 years. I made documentary films. So it was a really good breeding ground for honing my ability as a storyteller. Um, I think visually, I think in terms not necessarily linear, like film isn't linear. It's sort of one thing happens, and another thing happens, and another thing happens. It can move in and out of time. So the book does that as well.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I can't wait to read it. Sounds great. So you're relaunching it, and
Yes,
it'll be coming out July 9th. That's all.
July 9th.
So, what all have you got planned for the launch of the book?
Well, a party. Number one.
Yay!
And I know that there's a lot of publicity that Mickey's working on right now that we'll do.
Great.
I had a really nice contact by shepherd.com, and they feature 5 favorite books of authors. So that will be coming out soon. Yeah. So, we'll see in the future what comes. This was a
saw
great opportunity.
good. I'm excited about it. I saw
Yeah.
where when it came out the first time with the first publisher, you had some special recognition.
Yeah, I was nominated here for the Margaret Lawrence Prize and the and one of the first novel prizes. So that was lovely. And the book,
That's very
here in Canada, if you get a review in the Globe and Mail, you're doing really well, which the book got. So, I mean, that's another thing. We don't have enough newspapers now reviewing books, or even online venues reviewing books. And it
very
makes a
true.
big difference, because books tend to move through word of mouth. So the more you get people talking about it and recommending it or reviewing it, the better. And the book has a new cover, which is kind of an interesting story as well. I loved the first cover. It was beautiful, but it was very somber. And this cover, I think, is more welcoming and speaks to family, which is really what this novel's about. The way we negotiate our relationships with our siblings, our own parents, and our children. So it's a lovely image.
Well, so you had a similar thing with republishing your first book and a new cover and everything as well, right?
I did. I would love to see Erna's new cover. Do you have a copy of it to show us?
I don't. I have it on my computer, but I don't have it to hold up. I can show you the old title, though, the old cover.
Well, let's see your old cover.
Okay,
You have it?
I got to stand up for a minute.
I didn't mean to mess you up.
No, you're not messing me up. It's right behind.
And I do have a question,
Sure.
Sandy.
Sure.
Okay.
So that's.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, I see what you mean.
It's gorgeous. It's a
but
gorgeous
it's dark.
cover. But it's not kind of a laugh a minute.
Aimee, do you have the one on Amazon? Because that has the new cover on Amazon.
Yes, Amy's looking for it. You can tell it's in her mind.
And
it's going across her forehead.
This cover is a Dorothea Lange photo from the 1930s. You know, there it is.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, when someone is looking to buy books for the week to read, the people that we're really after to buy our books, they buy 2 or 3 books at a time. And when they see that cover, that's a come check me out cover. That's a pretty cover. That's an inviting cover.
Yeah, inviting.
I like it.
I think that's what I really wanted. And the photograph is actually true to the period. It's an archival photo done by a photographer in the 1930s called Abe Rothstein, I think. I think I've got that right. And it was taken in Idaho during the Depression, during the Dust Bowl. So it's perfect for the book.
I do have a question. How did you transition from writing about further past and then current of your novel? And how much did the editors give you trouble about that?
You know, I had the world's best editor. I had another writer as my editor, Helen Humphreys, who's a Canadian British author whose books are absolutely gorgeous. And she sort of, I remember I had an additional chapter that I wanted to put into the book, and it was a past chapter. It was a chapter about the past. And she said, put it wherever you want. And I think that's the way the book works. I mean, it takes you into the lives of people in the present day, and then it draws you back into a past that illuminates what's happening in the present. So I think it's pretty seamless, but it's tricky. But no, I didn't get any action for that. None. Both my publisher and my editor were really supportive of the way the book had been structured.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I love writing because it kind of takes you to another place. It's kind of an opportunity to time travel for me. And so putting yourself in the frame of mind using music or archival photos or whatever is is really useful. I actually did a playlist for Let Us Be True. So
And you've done a lot of other writing. So
I
tell us a
have.
little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've worked for years as a documentary filmmaker, both as a researcher, a writer, and as a director. So I worked for a long time for a TV program in Canada called The Nature of Things, which is in nature and science strand. So I got to go some amazing places and meet some amazing people. But fiction was always something sort of pushing at me in the back of my mind the whole time I was doing it. So I had an opportunity to live in Halifax for a short while, and with my partner Brian, and I took that opportunity to take time off and start writing fiction. So that
Great.
was great. Yeah, I mean, I've had short stories published in a number of journals here, and also this book. So it's wonderful, and I'm going to start working on another one soon, I hope.
So what's the plan for the future for Erna?
I think, I do a lot of community work here in the city. That's part of what I do, but I've got a mystery novel on the go, which should be a lot of fun, and just more writing.
So
More
a
writing,
mystery
more
novel.
travel, more meeting interesting people. That's kind of what I love to do.
I hear you. I do too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so your new book is a mystery.
Yes, it's a mystery set in 1863 in Halifax during the American Civil War.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and Halifax was kind of an interesting place at that time because the British were there. The British were tacitly supporting the South, and so an American's murdered, and they have to find out why he was murdered in a little Canadian backwater on the ocean.
Now Russell's book is actually yours is more of a thriller, I think, rather than a mystery, right, Russell?
Yes.
Kind of. So, but that's interesting. I love that, and I love the what you're doing, what you're planning, and so on another side of Erna, I have been reading your blog since I got your name yesterday, and I love it. Some very interesting topics. So you are a very good writer. I can tell that from the blog. But
Thank you.
the blog says they call you the tree lady.
They do.
So
Yeah,
where did that
well,
come from?
I belong to a group here in Winnipeg that's been pushing the city to invest more in trees and to take better care of them because they're a really good shield against climate change and heat domes and floods and all sorts of things. So yeah, that's been a real passion of mine for the past 4 years. And in fact, the Provincial Council of Women is going to be recognizing that on the day my book comes out, July the 9th.
Oh, what a celebration!
Yeah, it's a big
Well,
celebration. It's a double celebration. So yeah. Originally when I started the blog, I was going to do more posts like the one I have on Jane Austen and food. I mean, I love Jane Austen. I also love food. So I thought I was going to be doing more of those, but in the end, really what it's become a venue for is to republish and gain a bigger audience for the opinion pieces I do for the local newspaper. And
and how
those are all about greening the city.
because you have so many people that do follow you and do love your op-eds and all that. Well, how can you take that visibility, that platform, and use that to sell more books as you have a
Oh,
new
I
book
will.
coming
I
out
mean,
and with
that's
a
going to be part of my marketing strategy is to announce the book's arrival, to talk about, your show, other places people can go to hear about the book, where they can buy it, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I will definitely use that. I also have a Facebook page that I'll use to promote the book as well. But this
great.
is a great opportunity. I mean, to me, to have 1 million listeners, that's not bad. Not a bad way to
We'll
sell a
take
book.
it. So I because you have won awards already with that with your book and been recognized. I want to invite you to take a look at a new award thing that we're working on. I've been retired for 3 years, and I came out of retirement to help with this award.
Fantastic.
Um, it's called it's called Fire Book Awards. So check it out. I would love to invite you to submit your book as a in the competition. It's
Yeah, I
for the it's
absolutely
for
would
the
love to do
public.
that.
Okay, well then check it out. Aimee gives me your email address. I can send you some information on it as well.
That'd be great. That'd be great. And Russell, what are your books about?
They're murder thrillers. They're about uh, a chess game between a detective that won't let things go and a woman who doesn't have any limits to what she'll do.
Oh,
And it's centered in Houston, Texas.
oh, that
And
sounds
her name
fabulous.
And your description of where you got your story and what you write about is much like mine. I thought that was a beautiful description. I do have two questions for you before
Sure.
we go. The
Yeah.
first one is, where can listeners find your books or more information about you? And the second question is, what are you reading right now?
Okay. Well, people
Good.
can
That's
find
good.
me at Train of Thought, ernabuffie.com. That's my blog. And they can certainly order the book from Kindle or ebooks, or there's Apple Books. There's a number of venues where you can order the book. What am I reading right now? Oh, I just read a fabulous book, which was sort of my favorite book of 2021, I guess. Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, and it's just a gorgeous book. It's about Shakespeare's wife, and instead of being sort of the older woman who trapped him,
Right.
she's this like wonderful,
I'm
vivid.
actually familiar with that book.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm reading that. What else am I reading? I'm reading a couple of mysteries at the moment. I have a couple of favorite mystery novelists that I read all the time. Really sad to hear that Jacqueline Winspear is not writing any more Maisie Dobbs books.
Oh, I love those books. I
Yeah, they
love
were great. Then they're set in World War One, so it's another historical mystery.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a long list of things waiting in my. I just read the new book by the guy who wrote Cutting for Stone, um, which is called The Something of Water. Anyways, doesn't matter. But it's Verghese is the author, and that was also just a beautiful book.
I love to talk to somebody else that likes to read like that. It's very because
Yeah.
everybody reads some similar, some different. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. And I think for people who might pick up this book, I think it really resonates with people who are having trouble with their own relationships within their family. These relationships are pretty fraught, and I mean, I hope the reader comes to love all of them, including Pearl, who's a total pain in the ass, but who is, at base, a really good person who's been repeatedly abandoned.
Okay, I have to ask this question because I've
Yeah,
been asked this question on a podcast.
yeah.
I was asked that there's this very insane lawyer in one of my books. And I was asked, are you that person? So, and my answer was, I hope not.
Oh my
So-
gosh, I was just gonna ask him. I'm like, so it's you in a book, okay? All right, now we know it's not. Okay.
Have you been asked if you're Pearl besides
No,
from Sandy?
thank God. I've been asked if my mother was Pearl, which she was not, or if any of my sisters are reflected in her daughters, which they are not. So yeah, you always get
That's
that
good.
question. Is this about your family? Is this about your mother? It's like, no. Yeah, but absolutely no. It's about her time, it's about her generation, it's about my generation, because the two daughters are of my time. So yeah, Yeah. It's interesting what people assume about the
It
books.
is.
Right.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
Aimee, I don't know if you have anything else for Ernest. That was all the questions that I had. Ernest, it was great, great, great to meet you and to find out
Yeah,
about
great to
you
meet
and
all
your
of you as
book.
well.
Yes, I can't wait for the book to come out, but I know we could go ahead and pre-order it now, so I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I truly don't. I like just listening and seeing where the conversation goes because it always goes in such a beautiful place organically. So I
Yeah,
love
it
that.
does.
Yeah. And in terms of reading, Dina has me reading the In-Depth series by J.D. Robb, and I am competing to get to where she is. She's a faster reader than I am. And so I bought the audiobook. So I'm cheating so I can get to the book that she's on so we can communicate. So I'm usually a pretty, I like psychological thrillers, and the more messed up somebody's mind is, for some reason, the more comfort I find, which is
Well,
weird.
it's interesting. I think a lot of writers who write literary fiction have tastes that are much broader than they would admit.
Yeah.
My
So
tastes
it's
are
fun.
very broad.
Yeah, it's a
in terms
lot
of
of
what I love to read.
it's a lot of fun to just dabble into new genres, at least for me,
Yeah.
in terms of reading and different writing styles, right? Because everybody has their own writing style that blends with their audience. So it's always such a
Absolutely.
beautiful thing to kind of find. Audiobooks, yes, Mombarella, I'm going to count them. Long car rides help me with audiobooks, puts my kids to sleep, and I'm getting ahead on my word count for the day. So, but no, Erna, this has been a wonderful conversation. You are such an amazing person. So thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to come and hang out and chat with us about your book and just you being an
Absolutely.
author.
Absolutely my pleasure. I can't thank you enough for having me. It's been a lot of fun, actually. A
Oh,
lot of fun.
good. That's
Thanks
always
so
our
much.
goal. Our goal is
Yeah.
to have a lot of fun. And I
And
know
focus.
Russell, what was it, Russell, on a previous segment? What was it? It was like a pissed off Aimee segment. Okay. And a pissed off Aimee segment, just for shits and giggles for Russell, is don't reach out to me and book a conversation wanting to collaborate with me to have your assistant email me saying that they don't have time in their schedule to do that. One, I don't have time in my schedule, so if I'm making time, don't burn that bridge for me. So
Absolutely.
that's just a tidbit. That's a pissed off Aimee segment that Russell
Okay.
loves.
It's
Don't
good
get
So we're
advice.
all going to be dying to know who did that, but we're not going to ask.
Yeah,
'cause
no
there should be
kidding.
no
No,
names.
I'm definitely not going to do that, right? But I will say it's, when you send me DMs on LinkedIn, it's 100% me. I do respond to them,
Yeah.
all of them.
It's fabulous.
So, yeah. So if you request saying, hey, I've seen what you're doing, I would love to have a conversation. I'm always open to those conversations. I love meeting new people in the industry and bringing new things to my audience and to theirs. So don't tell me to get on your calendar to have your assistant cancel saying that you're not looking for new services when you reach out to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, that person was not me.
no, it was not you at all. So please, no, it was no one on this conversation.
Wow. Thank God I wouldn't do something that stupid.
I'm just saying. I'm helping people out. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm sure that this happens to a lot of people. And so, hey, it happened to me. So don't feel bad. Just get pissed about it and move on like I'm doing. I'm just saying it because Russell likes my pissed off Aimee segments. And there you go.
That was a good segment. We need to do that every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, so those are things not to do. At least don't do them this week. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. 100%. But no, go and pre-order Erna's book. It's out on Amazon. I showed you. I will put the link in the comment for you guys to go and order. We all know we love to support authors. So go and pre-order. It comes out July 9th. So make sure that you go and you do that. But you guys, we hope you all have a fantastic Monday, a great rest of your week, and stay tuned for next week to see what happens, or a new pissed off Aimee segment on what happens this week. But until then, bye for now, everybody.